Hey guys, Kevpert here. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to show you a couple training plans for car control and then show you a few extra ways to develop your aerial prowess quickly. I do get a lot of questions on how should I develop my car control or just rebound my aerials. How should I start from scratch? These plans will be an excellent starting point. So here's the intermediate daily plan. This is for high platinums to champion 3, really. It's focused on building your car control without the ball and workshop maps. There's 20 minutes of obstacle courses or rings, then 20 minutes of working with the ball and free play, and then finishing with 20 minutes of custom training. This can be dodge control or air dribbles training packs I've released. The second, more advanced plan is targeted towards Grand Champion levels. This is where we have a bit of a warm-up using the workshop maps, but it's more heavily focused on working with the ball and extending your air dribble range. So let's get into the drills themselves. So the first thing we're going to do is the air dribble challenge by Gedek. It's a workshop map, and we're just going to get our best time in 10 tries and use that as a baseline moving forward. When we use the training plans, hopefully we're going to notice this number going up. I did this map 10 times, and I ended up getting 15 seconds on my second try, which ended up being my highest. What we're gonna do is revisit this video in a few months, and we'll see where I'm at time-wise. Whatever time you get, write that down. This is how we're gonna measure our progress over the months when you're gonna be doing our training plan. Our first drill is using an obstacle course map and holding aerial and boost non-stop. This is a drill created by Gainer in one of his videos. In my opinion, he's the greatest ever freestyler, so if he speaks, we should listen. I have linked that tutorial below in the description. I highly recommend you watch it because he elaborates more on his method. So for those intermediate players between Platinum and Champion, obstacle courses are going to be a big focus. You might not be able to do aerial and boost non-stop like I am here. I'd recommend cheating a little bit. You can feather your boost or your aerial and see if you can get away with that first. If you're crashing a lot, good. Those are the blackout moments I talked about in my old car control videos. Keep searching for those moments because it means you're improving. For more advanced players, working without the ball has limited use. Once you have a good level of control with your car, it's about getting precise touches, dealing with recoil from the ball, recovering from dodges, and so on. The demands are a little bit different. So I like to use a drill like this as more of a warm-up, just to get sharp and then do more work with the ball. This drill is still challenging, and I'm doing it on obstacle course number 2 instead of the original one, which is a very small map with lots of tight spaces. So level 4 is extremely challenging since it's in a tight space. I was eventually able to get it, but in the past I'd usually skip this level by going into the green boxes on the side. I'd recommend doing the same and trying an easier level like level 8 and going from there. You'll get a feel for what's good practice for you. For drill 2, we're going to use box mod, hit F2, current game, and reduce the gravity in any rings map. Default is -650, so I'm going to reduce it to -500. If that's too hard for you, find a level that's manageable for you. Maybe that's -350, and just go from there. This is going to be a progression style drill. Once you feel like you've mastered a certain level, because the gravity level becomes unchallenging, you increase the gravity. Now this is one of my favorite maps because it's pretty challenging. It's called Impossible Rings 2 by Whiffaholic. Highly recommend this one, but there are a lot of great ones. All you have to do is type rings into your workshop map loader or Steam Workshop and you'll be able to find what you want. There's probably over 10 of them. Speaking from my own experience, the first level is pretty unchallenging for me. As I go to default gravity, you'll see that I complete the level in 2 tries. So what I'm going to do is focus on the later levels, and if those are still unchallenging, okay, it's just a 5-minute warm-up. When you get to the GC levels, the demands of the game are so different. You have low boost on a play, you have to optimize your touches, and have a lot of finesse. That's why the training plan focuses more on drills with the ball. With Platinums to Champions, you need to know how to control your car without the ball. You need to have the broad strokes of your car control technique down first before you can work on the fine details GCs are going to work on. It's all part of your improvement process. Drill 3 is air dribbles with low gravity, and just using arrow left. We're going to reduce it to -350 gravity. I feel like this is a good starting point with most players that have practiced on workshop maps and have a solid car control base. This is literally my favorite drill of all time. With low gravity, the physics of the game feels way more similar than slow-mo, and it tackles this issue of air dribbles being so difficult to learn at default gravity. I'm sure this is something we can all relate to. You see freestyler air dribble for a minute plus, and then you try it and you're only able to get like 3 touches. Like, how are you supposed to go from where you are to there? That's where low gravity comes in, because it's not as punishing when you get a poor touch. You can learn to recover and get that precise touch that you want. Drill 4 is the same thing with arrow right. If you don't have this bound, that's fine. A lot of players only have one directional arrow bound. This one's always been a little weaker for me, so I try to emphasize arrow right a little more and put in extra time in practice. Drill 5 is the air dribble with low gravity with limited arrow. That means we're going to fly, but arrow the car into an upright position instead of constantly hitting the ball with spins. This is a common way freestylers will air dribble, and it's the way they get those infinite air dribbles for several minutes at a time. It's not as relevant in competitive play, where you need to work more with popping the ball to extend your range, because you're limited to 100 boost. But this is an example of something I'd have no hope of doing at default settings. At -350 gravity, it's possible, but it's still challenging. So I'm probably going to stay at this level for over a week and very slowly increase the difficulty and increase the gravity over a period of months. So when you get comfortable at a certain level, we're going to increase that gravity. I'm going to increase it to -400, which is where I've been working for the last couple weeks and where I'm comfortable right now. I'll probably increase it to say 415 and work in little increments of 10 until I eventually get to default settings. I'm very cautious of going too fast and trying a level where I feel like I'm out of control. I want to very slowly increase the level. This is something you're going to have to be really patient with. This is not like when you're a beginner or intermediate and you're doing rings and you're noticing incredibly fast improvement. That's because you're at a steep section of the learning curve. You're not putting a lot of time in, but you're improving really fast. When you're at a high level, it's the opposite. The learning curve is really flat and the demands of precision and consistency are crazy. That's why we want to take our time improving and gradually master each level of gravity before we move closer to default gravity. If you ever watched Zen, and we saw a couple of his clips at the very beginning, his hit rate for air dribbles, dodge control, flip reset, it's like 90% plus. He's so consistent with any setup. That's what we're trying to get towards. So drill 6 is air dribbles, but it's going to be using the pass ball or launch ball function, which are psionics binds. You'll find these in your view change control bindings in your in-game settings. I'm working at -500 gravity, and we're just going to fly and just pass the ball to ourselves. We can also launch the ball upwards and then pass just to change the angle a bit. We're really focusing more on first touch with the spin and see if we can get the touches that we want. So for dodge control, which was the last section of our training plans, we'll be working on it using the side swipe or pillars map or in custom training. This was all explained in depth in my dodge control video, which is within the car control playlist on my homepage. So go check that out. So I have some parting comments as we're wrapping up this video. The training plans are just examples and can be altered to your own needs. I would say the time requirements are pretty good though, and that's just based off my experience coaching others and improving myself. As you're practicing, you're going to find out some things aren't working as well as others. Lean into that. Focus on the things that are actually improving you. Also, I'll be doing a follow-up video to see where my car control is at in a few months. The advanced car control routine is something I'm going to do pretty much every day, and let's see where I get. Then we can definitively say if I've improved or not, and figure out which drills work best for me. The air dribble challenge will help me measure my improvement over time, but we'll also see a measurable improvement if I can do things at a higher gravity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.